the show off the road. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the peachiest podcast on the internet. I am not reading. I don't know how this goes. Pshhh, everyone has chatting and crafting here. We may be committed to the title. Who knows? Time will tell. Hi, I am Crash of rapidpeach.
And I am Kersey Barrett-Tormey of @Made by Kersey. Wait, do I say the @ or do I just say Made by Kersey?
I never say the @ but you can say the @
Is that like
do however you want.
when I was a kid, when you said a website, you would say www.aol.com?
I think it's exactly like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I love how fast everything is going. I love how fast things are changing.
High key though, even as a kid, I was like, why are you saying the www? That doesn't ever change.
Fair.
Right?
Fair. It took a while for me to figure out that I didn't have to type it in every time too.
That's what I mean. It's like,
Yeah.
why do we even say it?
Yeah. Because it's in
I think
front of...
the @ is like that, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't have to say the @ anymore. That's fine.
You're struggling.
I'm 35, man. I'm 35,
Yeah.
which is still young. But
I've
now lived enough where I got a lot of stories and experiences, you know? Where, like, and I can feel, God, this is an awful thing to say. You know, when your mind is like, 10 and you're absorbing so much, and your mind is 22 and you're still absorbing so much. And then around 27, 28, you can kind of feel like, oh, I don't absorb as much, And then you turn 35.
You have to like do.
You turn 35 and like there are things that are just going to change, and you just kind of have to be like, okay, don't get frustrated, a thing changed. And that kind of goes along with the we don't say @ in front of our handles anymore because it's already implied.
Isn't that a thing, Kersey, where it's like as you get older you have to have like more like novel experiences so that you can like make new core memories? So it's like that's why you go on a whitewater rafting trip or whatever, is like to add some variety back into your life.
That's actually a study for happiness. Is
right.
Minor changes in everyday routines, or major. Maybe not major, because I think that like
that might be a little bit scary.
Yeah, like, and also like sometimes, like I remember during the pandemic, I was like, I felt very like out of control, and I just felt this need to like change something in my life, but I was like, well, I think I just want a major change in my control than actually a change. But like, yeah, if you're going for a run, for instance, if you take like a different route than what you normally take and just see something new, it sets off different neurons in your brain, so that it's keeping your brain more active, if that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so that's like one minor thing.
Maybe you need to go for a walk along the bayou in a different direction, Kersey.
There's only one direction on the bayou, Crash.
The different direction. Choose one. Sideways. You've got to go into the bayou. Look, I don't have bayous, okay?
I know you don't, but you have beaches.
That's true. And no alligators, and that makes my life worth living.
Remember when I sang a song to the alligator and I sent the video to you?
The baby alligator? It was very cute.
It was like as big as my body.
It was a baby.
Yeah, it should have. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. Here today, we are going to talk about something very, very, I would say politically important at this time. We are talking about AI, as it seems to be
extremely timely.
Yeah, it's taking up a lot of the discord right now. I figured we'd kind of start off this episode with you talking about AI, Crash, and what you know about it, and how it's been useful to you.
Yeah, so AI, artificial intelligence. I'm not on the internet a whole heck of a lot. But like what's recently been popping up for me are of course like the TikTok filters and everything else like that of like AI generated art. And then seeing specifically a couple of different videos talking with people showing like how when you type in um, like very specific prompts, it'll essentially just give you a piece of art that already exists. And then like with a couple of like tweaks or changes to it because the AI is just like sourcing existing artworks. And that sourcing has been done without artist consent, and that's pretty messed up.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I do really like about AI that I've seen a couple of videos on, which has been very funny for me, is like when a YouTuber or something will have the AI create their script for the video. It's interesting to me because it reminds me a lot of the idea of like if a monkey types at a typewriter long enough, they'll write insert great work of book here. You know what I mean? Uh, it's been a day. Don't judge me. So that's been like fun for me to watch, but it also is kind of scary thinking about like what that can do for us long term. Um, and I've also been hearing about like a bunch of like Twitter bots and things like that, where it's like you can be having conversations with somebody, but that somebody isn't actually a somebody, they're an AI, you know? And I'm
Jesus.
worried about how that's going to, like, how that's going to breed more online hatred and stuff because that's something we already have a big enough problem with just people and like spheres of influence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I'm like actively worried about, and one of more reasons why I just like spend less and less time online is not wanting to like spend my life engaging with somebody who isn't a real person and is like intentionally trying to like the AI is intentionally trying to like rile people up, or it was designed to rile people up, I should say, because I don't think we're in Terminator zone yet.
No, I don't
But
think we're.
that's a yet.
Yeah, I think the unfortunate thing is that like when those Terminator movies were coming out, there was something very
Mm-hmm.
analog about them, and that felt like you
Yes.
could still defeat it if it's analog. This is now
Yeah, like you can drop it in a boiling pit of lava and like it's gone after
right.
that.
Yeah, we've now surpassed the
I love those movies.
technology that's in Star Wars, which is
Eek.
heinous to me. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. Like Star Wars is an analog future, and we are now very, very, very deep in a software future.
And like a cyber future more.
AI is something that has been on my radar. Speaking of Star Wars, for like a few years ago, maybe even more, maybe almost 10 years ago, there was an AI bot that rewrote Star Wars, which was hilarious. And it like made the rounds on YouTube as just a
Hmm.
joke. And then most recently, AI generated art has become a thing. And a lot of my artist friends were actually using it as a tool and were really excited about it because
Right.
you could put in a prompt, it'll show you something, and then you can base artwork off of that. And that's
That makes sense using it as like a
everybody
as
uses
a
reference photos. People,
references. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the word.
for since you know, art is essentially referencing the real world.
Yeah.
Since they were cave drawings, that's what it is. And I think that AI was a really cool tool for that, and still is.
Mhm.
And I, I mean, I definitely use AI to help me with my dyslexia, for sure. If I'm writing prompts or if I'm writing something for Instagram or if I'm writing a cover letter, I have these tools to help me better create what I'm trying to say so that I'm not getting in my own way anymore.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And that I think that AI is really, really good in that. And then a couple of weeks ago, when you were texting me what we should talk about for this podcast, a guy created a children's book with just AI, writing and
Mm.
art and everything. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. He works in tech, and his
Okay.
friend had a baby, and he wanted to create a children's book about AI for the baby. And he did it with AI. And I
Huh.
think, yeah, I mean, as a concept, great. That's actually a
Yeah.
really good concept. The thing is, um, it's wrong. There's something inherently wrong about it. And it's hard too because I've always been very prominent in like however you make art, that is your art that you made. There's something about this that feels different. And I had to like backtrack in my mind, like, all right, so when the when the camera was invented, like painters were like, fuck the camera, it's all about painting. And then, the
Mhm.
camera became a part of fine art. And then I think even back for like the printing press, like there's all these like new technologies that come out that kind of like scare the shit out of artists. And this is one of them now. I wasn't afraid of it until now. So a little bit of background on this book is
Yeah, because I was gonna circle back to the book and ask you like if it's for like a present, right, for their friend or whatever. Like, is it wrong or did he publish it and that's what makes it wrong? Or like, can you explain why it's giving you the ick so bad?
I mean it's definitely a little bit of backstory on who I am is that I love children's books and I love writing children's books and I love illustrating children's books. I don't know if I believe in a God or whatever. I'm definitely agnostic on that front. But if there was like a little, God boop on my nose and he was like, you make children's books. That's what he said. And I work hard at it. And there's a lot of
Buy Kersey's
rejection.
books. Harvard the Pillowmaker is cute.
Yeah, there's a lot of rejection that comes with it. And it's interesting to see that somebody literally made something in a day and then put it on Amazon. And you can buy it. You can buy it.
Mhm.
Um, I did read through the pages that were available on Amazon, and the story is about, it's called Alice and Sparkle, and it's about a little girl who wants to learn more about technology and AI. And
Okay.
she, um, yeah, it says she discovered the magic of AI. She was amazed by their abilities and wanted to learn more. But Alice learned that AI had to be treated with care. They were powerful and could be used for good or evil depending on how they were guided. And that's the last line of the book.
That's the last line?
That's the last line of the book as it shows on Amazon, excuse me. I'm running off
Okay.
with like 4 hours of sleep. How
I
about
was
you,
like,
buddy?
Jesus Christ, I hope that's not the last line of the book. Because that would be terrifying. It's
I
like,
mean,
and you got to do it right.
here's the
But I'm
thing
not going
too.
to tell you what that means.
There's a reason why I'm not saying this kid's name on the podcast who created this book because they're getting death
Hmm.
threats
Oh my
for making
gosh.
this. Yeah, yeah, which is not
Hmm.
okay. I
No.
don't necessarily agree with the medium and how it was put together because it's all put together with AI, the writing and the pictures. He said
Uh
that
huh.
it actually took hours to get the right prompts in to get the right pictures for the book, and there's very inconsistencies with the drawings as they go from page to page. Like
I'm sure, yeah.
yeah, the girl doesn't look the same. The backgrounds aren't the same. Sparkle the robot doesn't look the same in every drawing. It's you know it's not as it is as an art
To
piece.
me, I wonder. Yeah, to me, I just wonder at that point, like, how hard is it to go in and just like finish it yourself? Uh,
everyone can
You know what I
draw.
mean?
That's the thing
Right.
too. Yeah, like um drawing isn't necessarily this gift that you're given, even though I just referred to like a higher power telling me what I'm supposed to be doing on this world. It takes practice. That's all it is. It's not.
Right. Well, but even then is like if you in my eyes, right, you can use like an AI to get like a reference for like a piece of art or something. And if it draws a robot for you, like, and then in your next picture, it draws the same robot, but like a color is off or it has the wrong number of arms or something like that. Like, it's not so hard for you to open up Microsoft Paint or Procreate or something and
And just
just
fix
like
it.
color over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I and
But that's from like an aesthetic standpoint, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, and I mean, speaking of aesthetic, like so much of what art is necessary. It's like, I don't know, you got to have your own voice in what you do. And I feel like this is kind
Hmm.
of just taking away the voice.
Yeah, I think like I think we made a very good point at the top of just like art is referencing the real world or at least referencing ideas, imaginations, whatever.
Hmm.
Like it's okay to reference. And if he'd said like the book was written by AI and then I went through and like finished it out, you know what I mean, or something like that's at least like you can put your name on it at that point. I think I saw some discourse around like, what if somebody makes a piece of art with one of these like AI generators and then enters it into an art show,
Yeah.
like into a competition? Does the person get to win if they like because they put the right prompt in and then chose the prettiest picture or something like that, And like I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know where I stand on all of it yet.
Did you see all those kids
Um,
who were like putting up AI selfies of themselves, AI art selfies of themselves for a while?
yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah. Did you know they were paying $16 for that app?
I did because I wanted to do it, and then it was like I
That's
think the one that I was looking at
so
was
much
$12, and I
money.
was like, well, I don't want to do that.
So much money.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I don't know how much of it, I don't know how it works.
Well, especially when you can pay a human artist and like get a cool portrait or something.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you can pay a human,
Um,
absolutely. And also,
like commissions are a thing.
is it considered artificial intelligence if it's just taking from what already exists? Because it's
I
not,
don't know.
is it making it up on its own? It's not imagining it on its own.
No, 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 no.
It's grabbing from everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, another weird thing that I've been thinking about, just stay with me, is that you
I'm
know
here.
how
I'm here. Let's go.
I've been thinking about this thing called voice a lot and how we're all supposed to like work on our own particular voice and our need as a human is to be heard, right?
Mhm.
And if there is any sort of unison on a topic, I find that it is talked about either in public forums like the news or even the Senate that, oh, the internet has this opinion. Like the internet is one person. And it's like, no, no,
Ew.
no. It's people saying this online. A good example of
Yeah.
this is like I was watching the news, and this was back in, I think, I don't know, 2015. And it was like a morning show. I was at my grandma's house, and this lady was just like, well, the internet is a buzz that Leonardo DiCaprio hasn't gotten an Oscar yet. And I was like, people, not the internet, people are talking about that. Obama was still in office, I think. So it was just like
Right.
slow news day. But what I worry more about AI art isn't the fact that people are using it as a tool or that maybe even not that like as much of an ick I get from the fact that somebody can make a children's book. I worry about people losing their voice because
Mm-hmm.
once people lose their voice, that's when we lose our culture.
Yeah, I definitely wonder also about like, yeah, the impact that this does have on artists in a couple of different ways. The first being on like your design, right? If you open up Instagram tomorrow, Kersey, and somebody has posted an AI generated picture of butts and it's your butts, like that's going to be pretty messed up, right? Like for you. And especially if then they can take that into an art competition and win a prize, or if they sell it for $1 million or something like
I
that.
mean,
Like
that's actually an interesting test.
I worry about how that's going to work for artists,
If
you
you
know?
put my name into, because
Right, if you put in
I have a
yeah,
very unique name and a very unique style of drawing. I wonder
right.
if I'm gonna try it. If you put in
Yeah,
my
please
name
do.
and
And then one of the names of your works of art.
okay, let's see what happens. Um, AI art
Yeah.
generator.
Like, I genuinely worry about what kind of effect that that's going to have on artists and also on, hey, I just spent, you know, 2 years working on this painting and it's my, like, favorite thing I've done so far. And then somebody creates something that looks, quote unquote, even better
Yeah,
in AI art in 10 minutes or even a couple of hours of typing in the right prompt or something. Like, that's something that turned me off of the internet pretty hard, was just always comparing myself
yeah,
to other people. And, like, that's not fun or cool. And as an artist, that stings even more, you know? Because it's
yeah.
not like you're comparing your, I'm trying to think of something really weird, the length of your pinky finger to other people's lengths of pinky fingers or whatever. It's like you're creating something that you put your heart and soul into, that you controlled every piece of, like through your artwork, your painting, your drawing, whatever. Um, and then seeing it come out, like somebody else come out with something very similar because they typed in a prompt or something, like that just can't feel good or be good in the long run. And then I also wonder, yeah, it's like, is it your intellectual property still at that point? If an AI art thingy like references your image, can you sue?
I think
You
that we need
know?
to talk to our governmental leaders and say, hey, I think this is a suable offense. If it's
Right.
going
I'm
to,
sure it will happen
and
at some
can
point.
you imagine the teamwork between artists and these like AI generating, whoever is running the programmers, if they
Mm-hmm.
create something where it's benefiting both parties, where they're like,
Yeah.
hey, can we use your art to filter into our program, and then every time that it's used, you will be compensated? Like, that
Yeah.
would be
That would be
amazing.
amazing.
And then, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, uh, oh God, this is such a like, I'm running towards home and then I decide that I want to get a snack. But like, also pay artists on Spotify more too, if we're gonna do that. Not,
Pay artists on everything more.
yeah, like the artists, for especially musical artists, because they're getting like nothing. They're getting nothing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're getting, what is it, like 0.00001 cent every time their song is played. That's
Something like
crazy.
that. But at least I bankrolled Tevin Campbell this year on my listens to the Goofy movie soundtrack. What happened when you typed in your name
I'm
on an
it
AI
says
art generator?
I need to wait a couple of minutes.
Ah, okay. We'll
Yeah.
see. It doesn't want to get caught, that's why.
Yeah. Um oh, we got something.
Okay.
And it looks nothing like my art.
Ah, man.
That's that's a good
Well,
thing. That's
good
a
for
good
you.
thing.
You at least know it's not referencing your art.
Yeah. Um I mean, the only places that it can really reference my art is Instagram and my website. That should probably change. I should probably,
I mean, from Instagram, though, like, surely it's getting art from Instagram.
yeah. But I can tell you what the image is.
Surely.
It's a red forest.
What was, so first off, though, what was the prompt that you typed in?
It's just my name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just typed in my
A
name
red forest.
and it's a red forest, but the forest has a waterfall coming out the bottom of it, and there's nothing really illustrative about it.
Okay.
It's very much of the digital art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. I wonder what it. See, what would be really interesting is that when it generated something, it like gave you what it was referencing.
Oh, see, that would be really
You know
cool.
what I
And then there's
mean?
a
Or like
discoverability.
we pulled this element from the. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, that would be genius.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Because I would love to see what made it like it typed in Kersey into the World Wide Web, the internet, and came up with a red forest. Is like I wonder how that like what. I
yeah.
wonder where those zeros and ones like made that happen.
Yeah. I want to find the artist who was referenced for this. I
Right.
think that there will always be an interest in art. I really do. I mean, again, I went from running to home to the snack bar, and now I'm going upstairs to one of the boxes to see a friend before I run to home. But like, so my sister is an artist, and
She is.
she makes mugs, ceramic mugs. And I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking about this the other day, is that that's a technology that's not going away anytime soon. A ceramic mug.
Right.
We have been drinking from ceramic mugs for hundreds and thousands of years, right?
Yep.
And that is still desirable.
And we're still doing it.
Yeah, that's still what we want to drink out of most of the time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
is a ceramic mug. Um, I don't think that AI art will ever replace artists. I think that it's gonna make it. I do think that it's what we talked about though, where it needs to
Mm-hmm.
evolve alongside of us instead of the taking.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it needs to be an opt-in process. It needs to be a paid process. It needs to be something that, yeah, like works with people to try and make something cool together instead of I'm gonna make something cool with or without you. You
you
know?
had a great idea. I would love an AI that had a discoverability factor too, where I could just discover other
Yeah.
artists.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really, really cool.
Right. Especially because then it'll help you find things that you're interested in. You know, if I type in like tons of dot work, scarab beetle tattoos, and it comes up with some really cool things, and I'm like, ooh, I want to know about those artists,
Yeah,
so that I could ideally get a tattoo from them or something like that. And like, you could argue like that's what Instagram's search feature is for, which like, yeah, that's the whole point. It's discoverability.
yeah,
Um, it'd be nice to like have that in AI too.
yeah. I want to see
Yeah.
what artists I
And that
could
way, when it
combine
does
with.
reference something a little bit too closely, it at least is like giving credit,
To be fair,
you
I am
know?
definitely like so low on the bar of discoverability right now. You can find
You
me
still
in,
have a very unique name,
yeah, I
though.
have a very unique
So,
name, and you can find me in real life very
right.
easily. Yeah, like I'm out there in real life,
Mm-hmm.
but the internet is another thing.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely, I'm worried about like the impact of AI, not just for like art, but kind of for everything as we go forward. Like, AI isn't what the human brain is meant to engage with, you know? We are meant for people. We are pack animals. Like we've got to get to know people. Um, but we also really like our safe spaces, like our comfort zones, and so I think that that's why people can get so comfortable just looking at their phones and all that.
Hmm.
So I worry about how far like AI generated stuff will go. You know, at what point do they start making AI generated history books?
Mm.
Yeah, that freaks me out. You know, so like long run, I'm just a little bit a little bit cautious. My like default zone is always go up into the mountains, live there off the grid. So I'm like, if it gets too scary, I'ma go. But like, at what point do you turn on a new podcast and you fall in love with it and you fall in love with the host and all of that, and then a year into listening to it, you figure out that they're AI?
What about, do you think, okay, follow-up question to that.
What if we're AI?
Not with what if we were AI. How long is it going to take before somebody falls in love with an AI?
I'm sure it's happened already, but like Her, yeah, that movie,
Yeah,
right, with Joaquin Phoenix. When
yeah,
does that happen?
yeah.
Like, and none of this for me is coming from a point of like, those stinking robots, when people fall in love with them, those marriages won't be legal. Like, none of what I'm feeling is coming from that kind of position. It's more so just like, I just want transparency and I want to connect to humans.
Also,
Um,
if once
you
it,
know what I mean?
yeah, at what point does artificial intelligence become an intelligence that deserves rights?
Right. Exactly.
This just got so,
And like, and also, how do you measure sentience?
oh
Which
my
is going to
God.
be a whole nother thing, because like, not to go all like hippy dippy vegan preachy and stuff, because I tend to do that, but like, pigs feel things. you know, Cows cry when you take away their babies. Like,
Elephants have funerals.
right. And yet, we, like, society largely is like, kill him, it's fine.
Hmm.
Like, at what point do people care more about, like, rights for artificial intelligence than they do for living creatures? And, like, what does that mean for us as a whole, right? What does that mean for 3 generations from now, 10 generations from now, whatever? Um, I don't know. It's all a lot of big thinking, and I'm sure there are a lot of big thinkers who are thinking about it really big. And I'm just sitting here going, I like cross stitching and watching movies because it's my happy place.
You just kind of set my brain. Okay, so I know I was running home. And then I was like, no, I need a snack. And then I was like, no, I need to visit a friend in a box upstairs. Now I've left the arena completely. I am going to my car. Because at what point does
While they're screaming
AI
your name in the background and you're just humming a little tune.
does AI get to consider itself its own country? And are they going to have different AIs where it's different people? Like everybody's an individual in AI? Or is it going to be considered like the quote unquote internet where it's just one giant
Mm,
voice that's one entity? At what point does its consciousness get to decide things?
yeah. If it even, like, and again, that goes back to my question of like, when do you determine sentience? When do you determine consciousness?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all big stuff. I love your arena analogy though.
Yeah, I don't
What are
think
you
I'm
doing in
going
your
back.
car? Just like chewing bubble gum or?
Yeah, no, I'm just sitting in it, just thinking about how I just thought I was going to be talking about children's books, and now I'm just like, but life might be created, you know? I
yeah.
I've been working on getting a children's book published since I was 21. I am 34. Um, it's kind of like it's this weird thing where there's no clock on it, but there is kind of this like I don't know if this is going to happen for me, man.
Mm.
And it's there's now an option. I got to put my lighter down so that I'm not fucking with it while I'm talking. Um, there's now an option
Please don't start fires.
with that somebody can just do it. And it's kind of hard because I always balance like the everyone should make art thing. Everyone should make art,
Mm-hmm.
period. No matter how, what the medium, what the tool, everyone should make art. Um, but the fact that it's crossed into my arena, so I feel like I can't get home, and I'm just gonna like eat snacks, talk to my friends upstairs, and sit in my car and wait for the game to be over. Like maybe that's where I'm at right now.
Well, I mean, I think that's also part of a bigger conversation about like, um, what's the word I'm thinking of? About old industry, right? So it used to be you had to go to a publisher to get your book published,
Mhm.
and get it going. But like something really exciting that we have is like the ability to self-publish now.
Mhm.
And like I know you've done that with a couple of like your coffee table book types, right?
Oh, all of
So
my books are self-published.
yeah, right. And like that's really exciting in a different kind of way. It's not getting published and getting your book into a big box retailer or something, but at least you can make a thing, you know? It doesn't just sit as a manuscript on your desk for your entire life or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, that's fun at least.
You know.
And I mean, that opens up a bigger conversation too about like crowdsource and like crowdfunding.
Mhm.
Um, which like I think is how a lot of people are doing it nowadays, just because the older ways of like getting a book published, for example, are hard and like are just an older industry, an
It's
old way of doing things.
I think about the older industry with film a lot, especially
Mhm.
with the creation of like, I mean, YouTube wasn't going to take over movies, but TikTok certainly has. There are people
Mhm.
who would rather watch their TikTok feeds instead of going to the movies. And movies feels very old industry. I love movies. I went to film
Me too.
school, but there's another entity that has taken over. And
Mhm.
I mean, it's exciting because it's like you said, it is new and it does open up the availability to create much more than
Yeah.
what has been available in the past. I was talking with a friend and we were talking about music, and he said it only feels oversaturated because recording of music is finally cheap enough where everyone can do it. Everyone.
Mm.
So
Huh.
the availability is there, but the protection still needs work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, I'll get back out of my car. I don't think I'm going to slide into home. I'll get back into the arena, but I think I'm just going to watch the game for a little while. Do you want to sit down with me? Can I get us popcorn?
That sounds great.
Yeah. Come sit and watch this game with me.
I think we hurt our brains enough today.
How many hours of sleep did you get last night?
Like 8-ish?
You did? You got a
8-ish?
full night? Yeah, I'm running off of 4.
Yeah, I mean, I wake up a lot throughout the night,
Mm,
but around like start to finish 8-ish.
that's one of us.
You should take a nap.
I don't want to. I want to watch
Man,
this.
I always take a nap when I have a day like that.
I want to watch the game. Dude, it would be fun to go to a baseball game. I love going to baseball games. Can I just say, I
I
don't
just
know
get
much
so
about
distracted
sports.
and stop caring during sports.
Dude,
I stop caring really quickly.
that's what's so great about baseball is that you can just chill. It's like nobody's gonna get hurt. It's not like any other sport where somebody could get really hurt. Like I guess nobody can really
Yeah.
like basketball. No, but yeah,
No,
football.
people can get hurt in baseball too. You can get thrown a ball at your head or whatever.
That did happen, but there is like I saw. Well, maybe we'll talk about that for another podcast because we probably want to wrap it up soon. But I did see
We
that in
do.
a video, and like it's not like the whole game stopped, and there's like a very serious tone that takes place on like both sides of the field, and
Mm,
like because nobody's expected to get hurt, and it's supposed to be like
right.
this safe thing. But a pitcher threw a ball and it hit the guy's ear, and he hit the ground. The pitcher had to walk off the field. He was like, "I can't do this anymore. I hurt
Oh my
somebody."
God.
Yeah, it's a big deal in
Yeah, that's
baseball.
very different than like football. Anyway, let's wrap it up. Thank you everybody for listening today. We hope you did enjoy this podcast and that you do have a wonderful day. Cool. if you want to check out our art. Oh, by the way, Kersey, what did you make this week?
I am actually working on a children's book this week, and I'm really,
Hey,
really excited
hey.
about it. Yeah, yeah. I
Very
decided
cool.
that because I've gone the traditional route for a while now, and I'm just gonna go full weirdo in this book, and I'm really excited to share it with everybody.
I'm excited to see it. I am doing some patterns this week for cross stitching. I'm using AI to help me make some cross stitching patterns.
See, that's cool.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
It works very similarly to like AI stuff, but yeah, doing that. So that's going to be up on our Etsy soon. Speaking of our Etsy, you can grab any of our art whenever you want from PEACCHY Podcast Shop on Etsy. So that's PEACCHY Podcast Shop on Etsy. If you want to follow Kersey anywhere online, where can they do that?
Made by Kersey. There's an at in front of it, but
Cool.
we don't have to say it anymore.
Except on Twitter. She's not on Twitter anymore.
Heck no.
And then if you want to follow me anywhere, you can do it at rapidpeach online. I said at that time just to throw everybody off. Hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you follow us wherever you are right now listening to this podcast. And that's it for me.
I love you.
You got anything? I love you too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.